What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bittensor today. TAO. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. TAO USD. It is the 20th day of March. We're talking about TAO because I see a lot of people in the crypto community talking about it. It seems relevant, right? I've had a few people request it. I'd like to weigh in on it. I've weighed in on it a little bit on X.com. I'm going to weigh on it here as well. Okay, first and foremost, yesterday, very obviously that this was a prime area to buy. Very, very obvious that we're at a prime area to buy here. I doubt that we go lower. I doubt that we go below that low, but we're seeing a little bit of volatility here. What's going on is we're just consolidating after a massive pump. Okay, we're going to shake out the weak hands, give the strong hands a chance to buy in. It is possible that we could go below this low. That's not my expectation at the moment, but from a low to a high here, you know, I mean, look at this. As soon as we got a higher high, we dumped. We faked everybody out. As soon as we dropped through the floor, we pumped. We found support at prior resistance. Everybody's looking at this as the relative area when they should have been looking at this and these prior areas of support here. But I digress. A little bit of volatility never hurt anybody. It puts hair on your chest. Okay, sorry, ladies. It will though. $277, 9 hours and 41 minutes left in this day. I want to show you guys something on the daily time frame that I think is pertinent to the discussion here. Okay, TAO. Should I do TAO B? I want the all-time history chart, which will be here. Okay, so here we go. This is the all-time history. We look at this all-time history, and we're going to use the RSI specifically. Okay, specifically this RSI. And then I'm going to put a line right here on the RSI, right where the top came in. Notice how there's only been a few moments in TAO's history, maybe more than a few, where we've gotten to this point in the RSI or higher. I'm not going to measure all these points. I'm just going to measure the points that, and it's been a long time since you've gotten to this point. We're in a bear market, so that's fair. But we're just going to analyze all these points. Okay. First and foremost, it's a bit of a cluster back here, isn't it? It's a bit of a cluster because this was the largest, most spectacular move that you ever saw. I'm going to delete these two, and we'll come back to them, okay? The thought here is, when we saw this high point in the RSI, right, that's where this line is, that high point there, did we stop there, or did we continue to pump? We continued to pump. Okay, and that's obvious. Okay, whatever. Did we stop here whenever we did it again, when we reached that same point in the RSI, or did we drop? No, we continued to pump. Did we stop here whenever we reached that point in the RSI, or did we continue to pump? We stopped for a little bit, but that wasn't the high. We saw a higher high. The next one here, massive move. Did we dump from there? Was that the high, or did we continue to pump? We continued to pump. There was more to go. Did we stop here whenever we got to that point in the RSI? Right here, quite literally like to the T right there on this day. Was that the stopping point, or did we go higher? Now, this time, it wasn't as magnificent as the others. But even from the lowest point, that wasn't even the lowest point, but from a low to a high, we saw a range of like 34, 40%. We continued to grow still. None of these times in TAO's history, whenever it reached this level in the RSI or higher, did it stop there and immediately dump down. Not once. The worst thing that you had was another 30% to the upside from the low, 40% to the upside from the low distribution, and still you even went higher. And then inevitably you went down. Long-term distribution that resulted in selling pressure. So the same thought comes to my mind here whenever you see this deep, deep reading in the RSI, is this the point at which you stop? Is this a high point where you reject like it was here? Likely, no. That doesn't mean with absolute blind certainty that we have to move higher. It doesn't mean that we move higher like this, or that we even get a 30 to 40% pump from here. Maybe we just move 10% higher. But to me, what it really means is the party don't stop here. It likely has more in it. This is not the point at which we see slowing down. The point afterwards is probably where we see slowing down. This was the initial move. The next move will probably be lackluster, and we'll find resistance there. If we take this into context, measure the high to low fib range here, where are we? What is just a little bit higher from here? What is from a low point to a high point, maybe 30 to 40% away? The golden ratio. Huh. Isn't that nice? The golden ratio. We'd get just above these highs. People would get probably really excited on that because not everybody uses the fibs, but the fib people and the algorithms that do use the fibs, the golden ratio is integral in a lot of trading algorithms actually, will be like, oh, we're just above these highs, people are getting excited, it's time to sell. Time to sell. That's what it is. And maybe that's what you get. Maybe if we look at this TAO here, not TAO B, let's look at TAO USD on Coinbase. So we have volume, we don't need the all-time history anymore. Maybe what we get is a little bit more of a move up and the volume decreases. And if we see that, okay, this will be a point at which you'd think to sell. Because likely then we'd also get bearish divergence on the RSI, the MACD, the stochastics, all of that. We actually do have a little bit of bearish divergence on the MACD here. A little bit, and that might be why we're selling off. By the way, this bearish divergence, because of what we're doing today, if we close here or lower, it's already played out. You don't have to go lower. You could. Again, just because we've hit this level and every time afterwards we've grown doesn't mean with blind certainty that we will grow. There is a chance that we could dump off. I just think if this was a pump and dump, what are we doing right now for the last 4 or 5 days? You know, that it doesn't make. If this was a pump and dump, we've got every reason to dump down. But we did dump down, and instead we got massive buying pressure. So I do think that there's more to go. I think that we're just stopping here because there's prior resistance here. That's all. People are making a trade based off of that, right? Little plays off of that. Low to high here. 2272. It's very common to find resistance just above the 2272. Come back to this area, find support. Maybe come down to your golden ratio. Maybe come down to your 1272 and find support. We could go lower than this low and still climb higher. I won't. Sorry, I have a baby and she's learning how to crawl so she can move off the bed. So my wife's in the shower. I don't know if you guys can hear the background. That's the shower. So if she's crying, I wanna get her before she rolls off the bed. Let's see. We could go a little bit lower, but I think that whether we do or don't, I don't really think it matters. As long as we're above 230, I think that you're fine. And personally, I think that this price around 337, maybe even something as high, guys, is like 511. Like this is a huge range of possibilities. Because we've seen it where you go up just a little bit higher and then that's the point you sell off. We've seen it where you continue to rally in a magnificent way and then that's the point to sell off. So the bearish scenario is not playing out yet. We'll know more as we go higher. What I would say, in case I get distracted and I don't make a video or I forget about it, is going forward, maybe in a week, maybe in 2 weeks, maybe in 2 days, whenever you continue to move higher. I don't know how long it'll take, but probably within the next 2 weeks you'll be moving up again. Watch for the volume. If you're moving up and volume continues to die off, if we're on the 4-hour time frame and volume continues to taper off, that's not a good sign. You don't necessarily need larger spikes than what you have here. What you want to see is volume building. Okay, you want to see volume building. It doesn't even have to be larger than these spikes, but you want to see consistent. If you get like one spike like this, but then on average the volume's dying down, like you get like one spike up and then the volume's dying down, you might sell off. I would just say watch for the volume. If it continues to taper off, if it continues to die off, and you're moving higher, that's a sign that the party is coming to an end. It might not be the absolute end, but just pay attention to that. If you're moving up higher and volume is growing, we can talk about prices that are well above $400 and even above $500. I do believe TAO doesn't stop until it reaches prices that are probably, let's see, at a minimum around 325 to 357. There is a complete possibility that you could be moving up to 406 to 463 as well. Maybe even above 500, but maybe not. I think 463 might be the max. I got a little overzealous when I said $500. Take care. I hope this helps. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.